Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Alex Tolotov, representing Linelight Trading Canada, and I'm going to discuss with you Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and possibility of using or adding a process such as a rebilling to the Business Central. I'm with Business Central and formerly with Navision for many years doing modifications, development, technical, functional consulting, and I like that application. If you know, Microsoft did a terrific job bringing this application to a completely different level. Now it's a Business Central in cloud, and no headaches as before with all those updates. When people were doing modifications, they could be stuck with old versions, but we're not going to discuss that direction. What I'm going to introduce you the new that particular rebilling process that could be in demand these days. I've got those requirements regarding rebilling, and we analyzed those requirements, and we built an addition to a Business Central that could be used for those rebilling transactions, rebilling processes inside Business Central. And first of all, to define the rebilling, that would be a transfer of cost from a vendor or from some one side that billing your company, and you would redirect, you would rebill a client that bill supposed to be meant to be for that for that client. And what business lines could be considered for those rebilling transactions? Many. It could be financial companies that doing some transactions on behalf of a client. That could be, picture that, a hotel. You're staying at a hotel, you come into a restaurant inside that hotel, and you could be asked what room could be charged. And you could say, yeah, it's room 123, and when you are checking out, they could present you a bill where you could see charges from that hotel, that restaurant sent to a hotel, and they are rebilling you for those. That would happen behind the scene. That is a rebilling, kind of a rebilling example of a rebilling process. That could be a property management company that's sending a plumber to fix, to do some fixes, the rental apartment or rental house, and that could be rebuilt to an owner. Could be a law firm that could send a medical client for a medical test and then rebilling the insurance company or liable side. Could be consulting, environmental consulting, then sending some tests to a laboratory and then rebilling another side for that. So many examples for small scale and middle scale businesses that would love to do those rebilling functionality be available. Yeah, I'm not talking about a huge company such as an airline that could be doing that, or cruises that could be do it as well. So it's about that rebilling process. I wanted to demonstrate it to you, and let's go to Business Central to see and how it could work for all those businesses. And if you're interested in these rebilling functionalities, you please watch it, and it could be very useful for you. So we're in a Business Central now. And before to go to our rebilling process demonstration, let me say a few words about the possible alternative for the rebilling, as in some cases users are referred to a project module that could kind of satisfy in some cases the rebilling, as we can find the rebilling element there. And I was doing the same. When I analyzed the rebilling requirements, it was obvious for me that it's similar to a project module. And if you open the project, just to show you in a few seconds, right? Here's a project, right? And users tried to use it for rebilling, and it's true. The rebilling could be achieved. Some elements of rebilling could be achieved through a project module, but if you open that project module and if user is trying to do that, first of all, they would need a special training on that, as just the users never used a project module could be lost here. It's so many tasks, phases, etc., etc., and it's a perfect tool, a perfect module for a project, for jobs that some companies are doing. And it's specifically designed for that. Could we find the elements of rebilling there? Yes, we can. But a feedback, and not only one feedback, but many feedbacks I'm hearing from users, yes, it's good, but it's so many heavy clicking involved. And how about the tracking the rebilling transactions? How about to visualize those rebilling transactions? How about to auditing them? And it seems like it's impossible to do with this a wonderful project module that could be serve a purpose to do projects. But yeah, for rebilling it might not be convenient for users, and those users just refusing. They're so reluctant to do that, and actually, to be honest with you, they're not doing it through the project modules. Yeah, that's what it is. So let's go to our extension that's called Rebilling Pro, and let's go to start with the extension management, where we could find that extension for this Kronos demo, and it's called Rebilling. So that is the our rebilling extension. And a prerequisite, just to tell you, for this rebilling process is two shortcut dimensions. Two shortcut dimensions supposed to be available, any shortcut dimensions, and I, for many years of working with Navision, with Business Central, I haven't seen one company that could use all shortcut dimensions. At least a couple of those dimensions supposed to be available, and it's true for probably for more than 90% of the company. So it should work. And yeah, I want to going back to the project and saying that is so many heavy clicking, and what users always ask for something simple, for something simpler than that. And keeping in mind, we develop a so simple application, you don't need to go anywhere, and users would do the business as usual, using all processes as usual. And let me demonstrate it to you. So to open that setup page where we could finalize the setup for this extension, we could go through a setup, going to a setup page right from here, or we could, so it's many ways, so it's not necessarily we need to go to this extension. It could be available if we click search and type something for rebilling. We can open it from here to finalize the setup. Or even a third way could be the rebilling process supposed to be started with the purchasing invoice. If a user going to a purchasing invoice and opening the invoice and trying to do the rebilling transactions, selecting selecting Rebill from here, he or she would get a message that there's supposed to be a setup done. So a third way just to do that is how easy not to miss that and not to start to do anything. A user would be asked if you want to open the setup page. Yes, so we can open it directly from here. And having that setup page, we can take a look at about rebilling, some legal mentioning here, of course, and most importantly, we could see the functional purpose of that rebilling process, which is state here that is a specialized utility that captures third-party costs from purchase invoice and seamlessly transfer them to the responsible client via sales invoices. It ensures one-to-one cost recovery for tracking vendor origin and customer destination directly from the general ledger. So what we could see from here, that is as I mentioned before, a process as usual. We would work with the purchasing invoices. We shouldn't go to any other module, such as a project modules, or we could find even rebilling in a field services. But if we could mention to a user, yeah, so you want to do a rebilling, let's do field services. They would say, what even that? So it's I'll show you in a minute. That is as I mentioned, business as usual. It's a purchase. It's a purchasing invoice that we would need to do, and the final source of truth would be general ledger that would provide all details, and that would be very likable by auditors, as all details is there. Rebilling transactions would be distinguished and would be very visible and for auditors. So let's go to close that. We could see this, and of course, in this case, I don't want to much to licensing issues, but applying a license is kind of outside of the rebilling, but we made it as easy as possible as well, as keeping in mind those all users' feedback when they're trying to do rebilling in a different way. So how complex is that? So to get a license, we can click request license from here and send a license, send a tenant ID, and based on tenant ID, a license would be generated and send it back. And how easy is to apply that license? It just could be copied and pasted here, and we could click activate the license. If it's a trial license, and you see it's a second millisecond, and it's green here, its license is activated. Now, going back to a setup and knowing that many users are so reluctant to not to do a setup, but to go to a general ledger and clarifying, trying to allocate some shortcut dimensions to this business process. It could be we could face some reluctance from users about that as well. And again, keep it simple. I'll show you how it's simple to do this, to fix this warning that you have to do that setup for this rebilling process. I'll show you. You can go here and you can apply setup. And what's happening? What's happening? This would be done again in a millisecond. That's it. That's all setup you need to do. However, I can mention another thing. Another thing would be if for some reason management or the accounting team decided let's stop do rebilling and and nobody from the accounting team or no user would be able to do the rebilling for some reason, temporary, not temporary, we don't know how easy to do that. Okay, user could that user who is supposed to have a permission to do that could go here and click a button, roll back the setup. And this again, it's a second, and nobody would be able to do rebilling starting from here. But let's go back and do just demonstrate one more time how easy to do the whole setup that many users are so reluctant to do. It could be done in a second, and this is all set to do the rebilling. I hope I haven't missed anything from here to say, yeah, that would be main steps that we have to perform here, and you could see not much, and it's so easy to do, so it's not scary that setup Rebilling Pro could do. And yeah, everything is green here, nice looking. Yeah, so we can go out from here and we can go out to our purchasing invoice. And now, if after that setup, if we click rebilling, everything is good. So we could start the transaction for a rebilling, and if we are rebilling, no errors anymore happening, and that we could see a rebilling customer. It's highlighted with a red star. That would mean it's a mandatory field. And if we're not selecting that field, posting wouldn't happen if we select the rebill here, marking that transaction as a rebill one. But let's go probably out from here for a minute and to have a little philosophical discussion from where our rebilling process could and should start. And our rebilling process, of course, should start with a purchasing invoice. And how to go to that purchasing invoice? Again, we would not need to go anywhere, to any other modules, to anything. It's a business as usual. We just creating a new purchasing invoice, and yeah, so you know how to do that. You click in new. Yeah, we can click a new invoice. We can select a vendor. Let's say this vendor, the first one, just for simplicity's sake. We could select put some invoice number, otherwise it's a mandatory field, as we could see from here. And here's an interesting part of this invoice, that our basic Rebilling Pro extension based on a general ledger accounts. So only the limitation is to use for rebilling only the general ledger account. It wouldn't mean that, it doesn't mean that we couldn't lift that limitation per customer request if it's needed, and we could lift that and we could make available item, let's say type of item for rebilling. But for now, if you try to select rebill for an item, it would tell us that rebill could be selected for general ledger accounts only. But again, this is a kind of a requirements that could be not reconsidered, could be changed per client requirements. Yeah, so we cannot select that. We cannot select also the customer for that. It's saying the rebill supposed to be selected first. So item, we cannot do a rebilling transaction for an item in this version. But could we just enter item in a purchase invoice? We could definitely do, but not as a it would exist not as a rebilling transactions. We can do that, no problem at all for that. Yeah, we just cannot select a rebilling, but we can select any general ledger account for that. Again, some clients, so from one hand we could lift that limitation and allow items, resources, or other types to participate in a rebilling. From another hand, some clients requested that put more limitations, such as only certain general ledger accounts could be used for rebilling. One account or a few accounts, probably just to mitigate possible errors if somebody from the accounting team could be used the account that's not supposed to be used for the rebilling. And that more restrictive options could be considered again per client request if it's needed. So if we're going out from here just for a second to show you how it could be if we need to do that, and let's say we could have some accounts receivable account where we could find, oh my apologies, it's I don't know, just any account. I don't want to be that much specific about that, but let's say we could have some we could say have some with the current some account, and we want to specifically make that account to be a rebill account. Yeah, so that could be some addition added to that extension, and that account could be marked as a rebill one, and from this time only that account, again, if we consider that as a requirement and implement that, only that account could be used for rebilling. Any other account would not be allowed to be used as a rebilling account. So it's a vice versa to list some restrictions, to put more restrictions. Some clients wanna do that. So returning back to our invoice from where the whole rebilling process is kind of starting. Let's find if we could have some. Oh, we have accounts such as the billable expenses. I like to use this account for the rebilling, but again, there is no limitation in this version. You can use any account, but be careful with that. If you don't want to go to that another options to limit to some certain account to do the rebilling. Yeah, so we're doing this as usual. Yeah, let's put like 700 and let's make it non-taxable, and now we could say that is a rebilling transactions. It's a rebilling transaction, so we can select a customer. Let's, for simplicity's sake, let's say customer 1. We won't forget this customer further, and let's make another transaction for a rebilling, and I will use, to be honest with you, F8 to enter it, but amount we can make 1000 for this, and oops, my apology, accidentally click F8 1000, and here again F8 is non-taxable, and that's what we did. But in this case, yeah, it would be the rebilling transaction as well. In this case, let's select a customer, second customer for that. So it's two different customers for this purchase invoice in one transaction. It's not a rebilling transactions. By the way, if you want to do it for a general ledger accounts, we can do it as well. Just don't select a rebill, and that's it. So we have this all flexibility here, and I want to point your attention to that is a business as usual for a user. No any additional effort, just to say, yes, this is a rebill, and this is a rebill supposed to be for this customer. And by the way, if you want to add another customer, a new customer, let's say customer is not existing, we can create a new customer, and that customer would be available here for rebilling right away. Yeah, so all flexibility is here, yeah. And what we could do, we could go here and preview posting and do a preview posting, and yeah, so it seems like it's all is good. So we can post that purchase invoice with the rebilling transactions, and we click posting. Yes, we want to post it, and it's saying, do you want to open the posted invoice? Of course we want to see it. We want to see how it's looking at our posting invoice with the rebilling transactions. And what we could see from here, we could see a nice tracking of the rebilling transactions. We could see that the first line is not related to a rebilling, which is okay, and we could see that all our details about the rebuild transactions is here. It's a customer, it's how much, and this picture this invoice number 108 to 119. Yeah, that we could keep this invoice in mind. For what? Yeah, because that details should be provided further. So let's go back and create another invoice. Let's create another invoice for, yeah, let's say it would be another vendor. Let's pick a vendor 3, let's say, yeah, for the sake of selecting a different vendor, and that would be demo rebuild. We have 1, 2, 3. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and in this let's not select. We already shown that not rebuild transactions could be included in that invoice. It's all flexibilities for that. Let's use the same account. Again, we could be flexible using any, but this accounting team supposed to be deciding. And let's put 2000 on this one, and that again would be non-taxable, with just for simplicity sake, and we saying that is a rebuild one. And let's select the same customers, the customer 1 and customer 2, as we want to see moving forward. We want to see, and we want to memorize that is these two customers. Let's enter the similar rebilling transactions, but for another customer. Yeah, I'm using F8 again. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and we are going to, let's say, something different, 300. Okay, that is our this. And if you might remember, we have and if we're trying to select a customer mistakenly, it would politely tell us, yeah, you have to select the rebuild first. Okay, so we're doing that. And by the way, if we select the rebuild and we're trying to post, we will have a validation error here that would code that validation error. Yeah, we can select any customer, but let's select the same customer, as we will later we will clarify how much we still need to rebuild for that particular customer. Okay, let's, for the sake of safety, let's check preview. Preview looks good, and we can post this particular invoice, and that so we are sending that invoice. I wanted to write down that invoice number, but we don't care about this invoice, as we want to see a posted purchase invoices. Posted purchase invoice, that is a document. When document such as a new invoice we created, it's not posted yet, we can change it anytime, but a posted purchase invoice we cannot change. If it's posted, that is supposed to be And we could see here again all details about rebilling transactions and to whom it's supposed to be rebilled is here. Yeah, and the invoice number, of course, it's the next invoice. As our series numbers is doing a good job, and that is the next invoice number 220, as previous one was 219. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so, and we were saying before that it's all trackable, traceable up to the general ledger. Can we go to a general ledger entry and see what's happened with all our entries there? And okay, so how could we approach the rebilling? And we could see that all rebilling information that is even more that we saw there is available here. So we can go to this rebill field and we can filter it by what? By rebilling. We let's say we're interested only in rebilling transactions, and having those rebilling transactions here, we know how many entries we did, and we could see from here that a rebilled customer number. If you might remember, it was the first customer and the second customer. Their names here, as some users they could several companies in one environment, in a production environment, and in some cases customers could be different. Because ideal situation, I would implement that all customer numbers are the same, all names are the same. But in some cases, it could be different. So to make it easier for a user to recognize that customers, we put a customer name. Customer names here is also available. What else is available here? We could see a rebilling vendor number. So it's a source of that charges from whom, and again a vendor name is here as well. And what else could we see from here? We could see, remember those our two invoices, 108 to 19 and 108 to 20. It's a rebuild purchase invoice number, yes, but keep in mind it's a posted purchase invoice. That invoice that we generated initially became a posted purchase invoice, and all detailed information is here. So it's all, as I mentioned, it's a general ledger entries. So auditors would love to see all these details clearly here in the process up to the general ledger. Again, to remind you, you don't need to go anywhere to do anything. In addition, it's all business as usual. Create your purchase invoice, post that purchase invoice, and you will see all information regarding all those rebilling entries here. And if you're familiar with this functionality, such as you can just translate to open it in Excel and analyze it there if you want. Right, but what would happen with the rebilling process further? We created a purchase invoice, nice. We posted that purchase invoice. We could see all rebilling details there, and we have all details in the general ledger that is trackable, traceable, auditable, all great. But what would happen next? The next, of course, we have to rebill a customer that's supposed to be meant to be rebilled. And for that purpose, we are going to sales. And what we would do, we would create a sales invoice from here. We would create a sales invoice from here, and let's create a new invoice. Let's create a new invoice. And if you might remember, we did have the first customer, yeah? So customer 10,000. Okay, let's take a look at that customer. And yeah, we might not need enter much information here. And we wanna know if anything to rebill for this customer. And we have that button here, rebilling, and we can do the check. Do you want to check rebilling records for a customer, for this particular customer? Yes, we would love to do that. And it's saying, it's combining all those rebilling records we did for that customers, and it's saying the total amount from all posted records to be rebilled, 2,700. Okay, it's nice information here they are providing. And in addition, they saying the amount to be posted for the rebilling from not posted yet sales invoices. Remember, sales invoices and sales invoices that we are creating, they are not posted yet. So there could be posted sales invoices and non-posted sales invoices. Non-posted sales invoices is exactly this invoice we're now creating. And they're saying there are zeros from there, as it could be created, could be closed, and the user could forget about that and trying to check a rebilling for that customer, and that I'll show you in a few minutes after this, that it would inform us that there is a rebilling invoice, there is a sales invoice for that amount exists for the rebilling. Okay, it's nice information, and it's saying total amount to be still added to rebilling 2,700. So it's 2,700, that full amount we could add there. Okay, it's nice to know, and here's all information we could see from general ledger entries, but it's conveniently shown us here what those details are. Okay, again, it's a very nice information, very helpful, and the final message would be, do you want to load rebilling records for a customer? Remember that our general ledger entries, and we had a few records there, but what if it's 100 records? What's dozens of records there? And the users could be, this is a worry about, yes, so users could be confused there. It's always some worry not to overbill, to underbill the customers, but overbill. Remember that my example with a hotel, if you go into a restaurant and picture that if you spend there $80, but your bill would show $150. That would be nice for you and for a hotel as well. Yes, that would not be nice. So it's always worry not to overbill. And of course, for a business sake, not to underbill as well. So he's saying, do you want to load those transactions? Yeah, we would love to load those transactions. And can you, yeah, that is it's a successful message that is saying that all is inserted here, and those are, if we had dozens of transactions to be rebilled for that customers, it would be added here, and we could post these transactions. But let me show you something before posting that. Let me show you some features before posting that. As for example, we added that, and we could let's say change this amount to let's say to $600. So somehow we did that, and we put $600 instead of that. And what would happen? What would happen if we did that? We go into a rebilling, and keep in mind, this invoice now would be counted for a rebilling. That entries that we did already would be counted for a rebilling for this particular customer. Let's check for rebilling again. We're saying, yeah, it's still 2,700, and it's saying it's the amount to be posted for rebilling from not posted yet sales invoices, which is this one, is 2,600. We took off 100 from there, if you might remember. It's only 2,600, okay, and it's saying the total amount to be still added to a rebilling. Remember, we deducted 100, it's 100. Okay, it's a nice information. So again, it's providing us, and it's providing us what else could be added. We see details of that transaction could be added. Okay, that's nice. And they say, you wanted to edit? Yes. If somebody mistakenly deducted that, we added that transactions here. Very nice, very convenient. No calculations, nothing more for a user. Very convenient. Automatically loading all transactions to be rebilled for that guy who went to a restaurant and having many dinners there. So he's rebilling to that site. Yes, but what if we this 100 we can make it 200? Let's do that. Let's do that extreme thing. We kind of in a possibility of overbilling that poor guy, yeah, for $100. And let's do the check again. And it's saying, yeah, so this you wanted to check? Yes, we want to check. And it's saying the total amount from all posted invoices to be billed 2,700. And remember, we added 100. Okay. And it's saying the amount to be posted for a billing from not posted yet sales invoice, this particular one, or we could have an old one we created before, but it's not posted yet. It's 2,800. And it's saying there are overbilled rebilling amount for 100. So everything analyzed and captured here. It informed us, yes, it's 100. And okay, that's nice. It's all details. You see, it's minus 100. And that's it. That's it. No addition, no entries anymore. Could we post this invoice? Yes, we can. We can post it, and it would be on the shoulders of the accounting team that responsibility to post this overbilling if they want. But we don't want to do that. Let's return it to 100. And of course, per customer request, we could put a validation to restrict that. If it's overbilling, if it's a request for our Rebilling Pro to do that, to add that limitations, to not do the rebilling if it's more than if it's clients overbilling, we would not do that. But let's check again just in case. Yeah, we'll do it quick. So it's 2,700. It's 2,700. There is nothing to rebill for the customer, to be rebuilt for the customer. Yeah, nothing to rebuild because everything is already here. That's it. And there are no any entries to be posted. That's it. So what we could do, we could post that invoice. Oh yeah, I know, we have to change, for some reason it's giving us a mistake for salesperson. It's probably a feature of this Kronos. Yeah, so we are doing a preview just in case, preview posting. Everything looks good, and we can post these entries now. Yes, we want to post it, and of course we want to take a look at that posted invoice, posted sales invoice. And if this posted sales, we did posted this sales invoice 103297. We posted that, posted sales, so this invoice, and let's take a look what we have here. We have even more details here than in a purchasing invoice. Why? Because we have these rebilling transactions here, and we could see a source of that rebilling thing. It's a posted purchase invoice, it's purchase invoice number. Again, it's all tracked, all traceable up to here. Rebilling vendor number we have here, and the rebilling vendor name we have here. All details we would need to take a look, all details we need. I don't see any other details we would need to see for the rebilling transaction. It's a purchase invoice, from where it's coming from. We do have a rebilling vendor number and name, from whom it's coming from. It's all here. So we did post it. Yeah, and I didn't show you for a purchasing invoice, but for the same thing. It's all mirroring. Purchasing, sales, all functionalities are mirroring each other. Yeah, so I want to show you that if you open that find entries and you go into a general ledger, even from here you could see a general ledger details, where you could see what details would be after that posted invoice, posted in a general ledger. You could see it from here. Yeah, you could see it from here, and we could close this posted sales invoice. And if we, for the sake of checking, let's show you if we create another invoice for the same 1000 guy. Of course, if we create it for 2000 guy, we know there's still rebilling transaction for this individual there, but let's check that we already did the posting, and we want to check for rebilling sake what's happening with this guy. And we're saying, do you want to check rebilling? Yeah, we would love to do that. And what it would tell us, it would tell us that there is nothing to rebuild to the customer. Nothing. Yes, because it's all transactions supposed to be rebuilt to that customer. The amount to be posted for rebilling from not posted sales invoices. There is no old, not posted yet sales invoices that are supposed to be allocated to this customer. Zero. And there is nothing again for this particular customer, nothing to be rebuilt. There are no any entries to be posted. That's it. So for this customer, rebilling is cleaned for the rebilling. It's cleaned for the rebilling. Okay, let's go back to general ledger entries for a second to show you. And by the way, it's already here, and we could see that is what that. It's a purchase, it's a sale, and you can calculate this amount from here. Where is the amount? Let me show you the amount, and the amount would give you exactly zero. So it's 0, minus 2000, plus 2000, minus 700, plus 700, and yes, so it's nothing to be rebuilt for this individual. You can count that everything is processed. That's supposed to be processed. That is already processed for this. Yeah, and of course for this customer. Yeah, for the sake of I'm looking at the amount, I could see, oh yeah, so there is some difference, and difference due to another customer. So we have to filter by this 10,000 customer. We could add a filter on the customer, just to for the sake of, and we can enter it manually. So, and you see, now it's only this customer. For a rebuild, you can analyze it by doing that. Again, you can open it in Excel if you want, analyzing for all customers, for one customer. And yeah, from here you could see it's 700, 700, 2000, 2000. Now it's, yeah, so it's perfectly showing us that everything is rebuilt. Is a final source of truth, a general ledger entry. Nobody could argue with this. It's here. It's written in stone that general ledger entries is here, and that might be it. What I wanna show you, but to be honest with you, there is a continuation of this as to be a full cycle finance process. We have to have the ability to do the adjustment, correct errors, and user not supposed to be afraid of that, as that would be business as usual again for them. And that would be a second, and Rebilling Pro could do that, of course, and I'll demonstrate that in a second part of our video. So you could see how it is easy to use the Rebilling Pro, how it's nicely integrated with the existing posting processes for purchasing, for sales, how it would be a business as usual for a user to not go anywhere to any other module, just do it as it would be done for a purchase invoice posting, for a sales invoice posting. No any more headaches, spending hours trying to identify what to rebill for that third party. No worries about overbilling, underbilling, as it would be all handled. A user would be fully informed of all details about what to rebill, and with the amount, with all details about the rebilling. All details will be provided to a user before to do the posting. And the Rebilling Pro automatic engine would conveniently load even all the rebilling transactions that's supposed to be rebilled. That again, that saving hours over entries. I already mentioned that identifying first of all of those entries. It's all would be handled, and many type of businesses could benefit of that, as I said it before, and hospitality, property management, professional services, just name it. Even big companies such as airlines, cruises, and many more. So if you like this rebilling addition to a Business Central, please say it in the comments, and please click like, please subscribe to the next video. And by the way, I want to mention about the second video I'm going to upload. What if something happened? What if a vendor could send a credit memo, or a human error could happen? How to handle that? How rebilling could be integrated in all of that process? And in the second video I'll demonstrate it, and it will be all about the credit memos. So a credit memo would be, it's already, of course, Rebilling Pro could do that, but I will demonstrate it how it could be, how easily, the same way it could be done, how it would be integrated into existing credit memo posting processes, sales and purchasing. And it would be very educational for users of Business Central users, for a better understanding of a credit memo applying. As you might know, we do have 4 options for purchasing side and for sales side about credit memo, and some users could be lost in all those 4 options. Which option to apply? Then I'm saying it could be refreshment, educational for Business Central users to watch. And so I'll upload it very soon. So again, if you like this, please click like, please subscribe. And if you know some companies that rebilling process that we developed will help, please let us know. I'll put a contact email below the video, and if you know those companies, you can refer those companies to us as well. And if you help with the marketing, that would be greatly appreciated. And of course, we could discuss that matter separately. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Thank you.